Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Tom.
It's time!
Live from the CSB studios in Westbury, New York.
It's the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Featuring co-host Kevin Dolan and the host that's been here since day one, Jerry Napoleonello.
On Zeno Radio and
on All Noise Radio.
It's time for overtime.
What is up, Tom and Jerry Sports Show? We got a special Tom and Jerry Sports Show. You're live here with Jerry Knapp and Kevin Donlin. We're basically taking the Tom and Jerry Sports Show to overtime.
Yeah, good. Great app launching today.
Yeah, we had
September 17th.
We got connected with this great sports app. We have three great guests for you today that will be explaining exactly what this app is all about. Basically it launched today, in the iTunes App Store. It's kind of, in my opinion and, my outlook on this app, it kind of reminds me of a sports Instagram,
Absolutely.
And I feel like
but it also keeps you up to date on all the biggest sports news going on.
Yeah, and and the way I see it is, I just feel like it's fun to use. I mean, I've been using it for 2 weeks, actually maybe going on 3 or 4 weeks now.
Yeah, I'm just over a week myself.
And I can't put the app down.
I'll be honest with you. I get a lot of updates for it. It keeps me, on top of, the latest, sports news going on. I mean, even today, as us, both being Islander fans, Michael Grabner, obviously, being traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yeah, that's where I heard it first.
I broke that news.
Well, nicely done, because I learned it from you then, I guess. Well, it wasn't just you. I actually saw like 3 or 4 posts for it. So,
yeah.
And, the Islanders not even being one of the biggest, franchises in all these 4 major sports, and actually 5 now. Soccer's even included as well. This app really hits it all, and that's really the difference.
It's fun, and I mean, I don't want to get too far into it because I would like to have our guests explain it and explain their roles in this app. But I mean, you could put videos up, you could put a link to an article, you could put a GIF. A regular picture, and then if you do put a regular picture up, you can, draw on it.
Mm-hmm. It's creative.
Yeah, it really is, and it's fun to use. I mean, you get a wide range of, obviously opinions. I mean, sports, in a way,
it's a lot of opinions.
All about opinions. I mean, that's what makes sports fun. Fun to watch, fun to talk about, because like I said, there is such a wide range of opinion, because, not everybody is a fan of the same sport. Not everybody is the fan of the same team. And when you do have someone a fan of the same team, it's cool to talk about it in that way. Talk about your team,
the positives, the negatives,
exactly. And then it's fun to get the people that don't like your team or are different.
Well, it gives you a different
fans.
Perspective.
Exactly,
you get different perspectives of different kinds of fans and different sports, and this app is really it's been great. I've had it for just about over a week now, and I love it. I love the notifications. You learn a lot of new things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the the major sports that probably would have went right over my head. I mean, obviously, being a working man, stuff, flies, but when you get notifications left and right, which is great, you're able to look it up. It's right there. It's right in the beginning. You're able to, all the big news, obviously there's little stories here and there that occur. And, for me, experiencing with this app, you've been able to see for the most part, a lot of the, the big time, sports news. You know what I mean? Not going over anything. But we're actually going to introduce our first of 3 guests, Zach Weiner. Oh, I'm sorry. Zach Buddha. My apologies. Zach. Hey, Zach, you there, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, Zach.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you.
Awesome. How's it going, guys?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Obviously pumped about the big launch today. Happy to hear that you guys have been on the app and really enjoying it. And I'm looking forward to talking sports with you guys and talking overtime.
Yeah, it's actually we're big fans of this app. We really are, and we have a lot of fun posting, and then even seeing everybody else's posts and commenting and upvoting and everything like that. It's a fun app to use. It really is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sure, go ahead.
No, you go right ahead.
I mean, just right off the bat, the thing that's awesome about Overtime is that, you don't have to be the guy that's posting, once every couple hours in order to use it. You can have the typical sports fan sign into their account, search up their favorite teams, their favorite leagues, read what they need to read, comment if they want. And, I mean, it's really that easy. And then you've got the people that, want to demonstrate their creative side and draw on a picture or upload a video, things like that. So the app is really for anybody at all that's interested in sports, and we really have every sport covered.
Well, that's the best part about it. We actually talked about this before about how you're covering every major sport, which is really a plus. I mean, we're not missing a step here, which is always nice. And being able to get notifications and being able to be up to date on all the sports news, and obviously, like you said, it's been very creative. A lot of people are creative on their posts, and it's really fun to read.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, as you guys know, on the app, we've got the feed for the top 100 posts. So those are really, I feel like that's the best place to start if you're a new user. See what everybody's talking about, where the buzz is. Then we've got new, so literally up to date, by the second updates from the fans, talking about what they want to talk about. It's really there, really just at the tip of our fingers, and just hoping that everybody gets to experience Overtime like we have, because it's really, if you're not on Overtime, you're really missing out on something special.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Zach, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell everybody what kind of your role is in this app.
Sure. So I first hooked up with Overtime back in May. They brought me on as a sports writer, and as a sports writer, it was pretty much my role to just get content up there. The app was at its beginning stages, and we just needed just stuff about sports. So, I'd sign in, talk about really was around like the latter part of the NBA season into the playoffs. So a lot of stuff on the NBA, highlights from games, debates about the best players, MVP race, this and that, playoff matchups. Then the summer rolled around and baseball season got going, and I was actually contacted by Overtime, and I took on an expanded role over the summer where we really, we worked together in the office to really build this thing up. And since then, we've been working towards today. So throughout the summer, we were reaching out to colleges and universities across the country, trying to get people excited, get them on board. And now I'm actually working, not exclusively, but I'm focusing on the video aspect of Overtime, which I'm excited to talk more about. But pretty much my main role now is to ensure that the video content that's being posted is being posted frequently, and high-quality videos, and stuff that we can all enjoy together. And that's not just professional sports. We're looking to get videos from everything from Little League games to high school, colleges, practices. The possibilities are absolutely endless, because every person on Overtime can find exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah, we actually, our other guest, Tom Weingartner, he's getting into high school, and we're going to get more into that when we're talking to him, but that, it's not just professional, and that's what, that's what's cool about this app. I mean, it's not about the four major sports. I mean, it's basically every sport under the sun.
We even learn new things from this app. I mean, even if it means how to play the game and, what it takes, you know what I mean? And there's different levels of experience you need.
Because, overall, if you really think about it, as time has gone on and, to basically where we are right now, not many kids are coming out for high school teams, and something like this could be something that could really get people going into sports and getting themselves into sports. And I mean, it really could, this app right here can really turn it around. I mean, make, sports fun for, people that may have not even thought about picking up a glove and going out on, on the baseball diamond, or, picking up a basketball and shooting a hoop. I feel like this app can really, change a lot of people's minds and really get people going into sports. And I mean, even talking sports. So, I really applaud you guys with everything that you guys are doing with this app.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And yeah, couldn't have said it much better myself. I mean, talking high school, professional. I mean, think about the possibility of just, kids in Little League, grade school age. Their parents are on the sidelines. We know in today's day and age, they love sharing videos and posts about their kids. How about a feed dedicated entirely to my kids', Little League team? Share it with relatives, friends from around the country, around the world. It's all the thing I love about the app is that it's so organized. So while you could have a feed that's called, Yankees, you can also have a feed that's dedicated to, the Oceanside Little League baseball. You know what I mean? And so it's incredible that it offers the opportunity for every person who even has a remote interest in sports to really find a place to interact with others who share the same love for whatever the game may be.
Absolutely. I wanted to actually ask you a question myself, Zach. I wanted to ask you about, when it comes to like upgrades for this app, is there obviously, I know that you're working with the video portion of this app and, the quality of video, obviously. Will there be like upgrades on, a way to expand maybe the way video is going to be used on this app? Eventually?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, so I'm working on video right now. That might be a good question for the other Zach W. I think he knows a bit more about what's going on behind the scenes. But absolutely, I mean, this is just the start. The possibilities are endless here, and we've got a very, very creative group of people working tirelessly on the app. And I'm sure that this is only just the beginning of something really, really special.
Nice. Sounds awesome, man.
So, basically, Zach, we see that you're a Giants fan.
That's right.
We wanted to bring up, what you thought about that game on Sunday. If you don't know.
Oh, my God. Don't even get me started.
If you don't know, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, so.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Let me hear some of your insight on this game.
Oh, what about that game, man? All I can think about is the fact that would have been a road win. We would have been the only 1-0 team in the division, a road divisional game. Oh, my God. I don't get it. I don't get it. I thought they played, honestly, pretty well throughout the game. They honestly didn't. They looked pretty good. Dez goes down. It looks like we've got it in the bag. And you got a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback telling his running back not to score.
Yeah, that.
Don't go in the end zone. Don't let's not go up by 10.
I mean,
run the timeout. Okay, cool. Let's run the timeout. Well, if you want to run the timeout, why are you throwing the ball on third down?
Yeah, someone should.
How about you take the sack and let 40 more seconds roll off? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean that was actually something that that you actually saw on the Overtime app. People talking about basically Eli Manning telling Jennings to go down to go down and not score, and to hear everybody's opinion on that is where overtime really comes into play, and it actually it's fun. I mean, you can hear everybody's opinion, and at least it was fun for me to hear about everybody bashing Eli Manning. I mean, I loved every minute of it.
Right. I'm sure you did.
But overall.
But that's the thing. Go on.
No, you can go.
I mean, just the thing that's awesome is that, I'm sitting in a room with my friends. We're watching the game. We're all devastated by the result, right? And then I go on overtime, and there are hundreds of other people who are feeling the same way. You know what I mean? It's just very cool to see that, and to discuss, because, before the news came out that there was a miscommunication in the huddle with Eli Manning, even just to talk, just the fact that Overtime allows fans to have these live discussions during the game. I could easily throw up a video of what I'm seeing on my screen, and then instantly, all my Giants fans, let's talk. Like, at the tip, like, it couldn't be easier to connect with people, because maybe someone wasn't watching in a room with their friends. Maybe someone is sitting at home, they've got their iPhone in their lap, and this is going on, and you sign on to Overtime. Here's your community. It's not a happy Giants community, but here's a place for me to go to talk about my team. The team that I love, that unfortunately didn't pull out the win. But it's very, very, it's something that really, really, it could be very special, because it allows us to really connect in a really interesting way, because it's just all fans. It's just the fans and our opinions.
100%. I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, a lot of people, are working these days, and obviously you can't catch every football game, prime time or no prime time. You get these crazy hours, and, for you not to be, let's say you weren't able to experience what happened at the end of that game, and you want to know what happened at the end of the game, you could sign on to your Overtime app, and boom, you'll be able to, with the rest of the, Giant fans on that, on the app and everything, and you're able to, just, get a solid idea from basically other people's perspectives, other fans as well.
I mean, just being able to, videotape, highlights and stuff like that. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, I sat there on Sunday, and I have the NFL Sunday ticket, so I get to watch all the games. So I was just sitting there, basically watching games and then just posting stuff on Overtime, just because it was fun. I mean, it kind of added to the fun of NFL being back and Week 1 happening. To be able to sit there and, use this app, videotape highlights, right, within seconds of it happening. It was fun. And to be honest with you, having, being able to sit there and, say you weren't watching that game and something like that happened, or, being able to watch the highlights, from other people, it's fun. I mean, it really is. And, it's different from, Twitter or Instagram or, stuff like that, because, you have people in between that may not be watching sports or anything like that. Overtime is strictly about sports and
for the fans, from the fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. And just going back to the NFL being back in Week 1 and everything, so, right, you have the Sunday ticket. So I'm watching the games on Red Zone, right? And for those of us who watch Red Zone, we know how quick it moves, right? Game to game, just jumping back and forth. I see a sick play. Maybe I'm lucky if I get, a couple replays that were done during the telecast of another game. You know how it works? Like,
you
throw on one game and then you see their announcers talking. If I'm on Overtime, I can watch the play over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why? Like, why would
happened,
fans be inclined to take out their phone and record this content? Because we love to share it with other fans that are just like us.
Exactly.
It's really just something that is really, really cool. And that made my Sunday NFL experience definitely unique compared to past years, because I had a community of hundreds of passionate fans literally in the palm of my hand.
Yeah. Hey, Zach, you've been an awesome guest. Before we let you go, there's a game tonight. Who you got?
I got to roll with Denver here. I think Peyton has a much better game. I think he's going to throw 3 touchdowns. Emmanuel Sanders is my boy, as you might have seen me posting about him today on Overtime. I think he gets in the end zone, and I think the Broncos take care of business on the road tonight.
Nice, that's a good prediction.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. My co-host really doesn't agree with that, but
yeah, you never know.
I'm definitely going with Denver in this game.
Well, I got Emmanuel Sanders on a fantasy team, so I'm hoping. So.
Yeah, gotta love Sanders, target machine.
Absolutely. Thanks
Big
for your
AFC
time,
West game though, super fun one.
Thank you for calling in. You were a great guest.
Thank you so much, bud.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, guys. I'll see you on Overtime.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds good, man.
Have a good one.
Okay.
We'll definitely get a really good insight on the app. I think it honestly, this app is definitely going to be growing more and more. I mean, obviously for the first Sunday of football, for him to have a different experience, and even for us to have a different experience, this is going to be, a permanent effect, and obviously for
I love
Sunday
it.
me too, man. I think it's incredible. He's like you said, if you miss any play on any given Sunday, I mean, boom, you're going to be able to see that play over and over with not just a video of the replay of the play or why something might have occurred or why, this guy did this or this guy did that, but, an insight from a bunch of the other fans of either the opposing team or the team that, obviously, you're rooting for. So it's a really good app, really good insight, but
yeah, we're going to take a break. We got two other guests coming on, two great guests, give you more insight on what they do and, maybe other stuff going on with this app, when we get back. You listen to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Do you have sports opinions? Or do you want to start your own sports debate? Then Overtime is right for you. Overtime is an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers. This is the best place to talk about sports. Overtime is available at the iTunes App Store. Be a part of something big and help us take the game to OT. Overtime. The game never ends. Follow the NFL this season on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Tuesday on Zeno Radio and re-airs Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live.
How you doing? You're back on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show, and we're back. Obviously live. I also wanted to take this moment to let you know to follow us on Twitter at TNJ Sports or follow us on our website at tnjsports.weebly.com. Also, Tom and Jerry Sports Show now has its very own app. If you have an Android phone, be sure to download it at the Google Play Store. And we were talking about a huge special Tom and Jerry Sports Show, and today is that day, September 17th. Also the launching of the new app, Overtime. Been an app that we've actually Jerry's been following for a couple of weeks now. I'm just about 2 weeks in, and we've talked about the success of this app and how great it's been, even just for us in general. Being big sports fans and just being able to follow a certain sport or an Overtime, being able to just, be able to follow each sport and, get good insight on each one. But we're going to take our second guest, Zach Weiner. You're on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. How you doing?
Hey, good. Nice to be here.
How you doing, buddy?
Great. It's a great day for Overtime, and it's a great day for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I wanted to actually start you with a question. I actually was talking to Zach Buda before, also a member of your team. I wanted to actually ask about, the app just launched today, and obviously there's a lot more things to go as, time passes. But, when it comes to upgrades, obviously, are we expecting any upgrades with the app in the, not the near future, but, at some point?
Wow, day one, and you're already asking about upgrades. I love it.
Well, the app is great already, but, obviously upgrades mean, bigger and better things that you can even imagine. I know how.
No, absolutely. No. And I'm actually happy that you asked me that question because I always love looking forward to what's new. And, yeah, I mean, people ask, okay, now that we've officially launched, what does that mean? Is this the final product? And, no, you're absolutely right. This is, it's always a building process. We're really proud of the product that we're putting out today. But you're right, we actually have a whole list of things, some really exciting features that we want to add. So yeah, I'm happy to tell you guys about some of them. So one of the things that we really want to do is we really want to make Overtime a premium experience when it comes to second screen. So, most people when they're watching, the football game tonight, or, they're watching the opening game of the NBA season in a couple months, they'll be on Twitter, they'll be on Facebook. And there really hasn't been an app, a sports app that's been able to do well in that space. And we want to become that platform. And I think already we're doing a good job of it. I was on the beta version of the app this past weekend during all the NFL games, during the U.S. Open, and that was great, and I'm looking forward to tonight. But, when you're on the app during a live game, there are certain things that you might want that we don't provide at the moment. So, for instance, the score, or maybe you want it to be just chronological. You don't care as much about votes because you don't want to see an old play from the first quarter during the third quarter. Maybe you want an area to chat, or, there are different things that we're thinking about. So live game feeds is definitely something that you guys can look forward to.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be really awesome.
Definitely. We've talked about how, this app has been really good, just in general, just to say, that any kind of sports news that come out, and honestly any sport, and you're able to know it right away. I was obviously talking as well before about, we're actually big Islander fans on this show, and, they actually just recently made a trade today. Didn't know about this trade. I was at work, obviously I can't, look every second to find out all the different, even it's the minor sports news. Obviously this wasn't a big name player, but, to be able to know and look at my Overtime app and boom, right away I'm able to see that, the Islanders have obviously made a trade today, and it's, it's just good. I'm able to stay on track of my team, you know what I mean? Obviously with the feed and all that. So, it really has been a good experience for me, and I've only been on this, app for about 2 weeks now, so it's really been an awesome experience.
Yeah, that's really great to hear, and, I think that the more we expand and the more people we have using it and contributing, I think that effect is just going to be larger and larger. I mean, you think about Twitter in the beginning stages, they weren't really breaking news, they didn't necessarily have everything, but, and it's kind of the same for us, and I think that the fact that we're so early on and we're so quick to a lot of the storylines, I think it's just a matter of time where you're right. Not just, sometimes we'll be the first. We'll almost always be one of the first places to have content about breaking news and various storylines.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I brought it up to Zach Buda before, basically saying that it's different from Instagram and Twitter, because I mean, you have people that may follow you or you follow them that aren't into sports, and it's other news. Like you're hearing what they're doing in the morning, but with Overtime, it's all about sports. And I mean, I can tell you right now, I'm a diehard sports fan, and obviously because you should know that because I'm doing a sports radio show now, but this is like a dream come true, this app. I mean, basically being able to go on my phone and just talk about sports. I mean, that's always been my passion, and to be able to do that on an app, I couldn't be happier. And this app is awesome, and I could tell you right now that I can't put it down.
That's so great to hear.
Yeah, I love it, and and basically, I love to, being that I'm, as you may know, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I live in New York, so to be able to communicate with other Cowboy fans either in New York or all over the world, it helps, and it's awesome because I before this app I was always in the dark, being the only Cowboy fan, and with a whole bunch of crowd of Giants fans or Jets fans, to be able to talk about my Dallas Cowboys with other Dallas Cowboy fans, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad to hear that, and that speaks to something that is really important to Overtime, and that's the community aspect. Absolutely, you say, that everything is about sports on our app, and that's really true. We really try to build a community of sports lovers, of people, that have a total variety of opinions, are from a bunch of different places, root for every single team, so that everyone can really find their home and their niche in their feed.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with you. But you know, moving away from the app a little bit, but going back to you, you know, can you like give some insight to you know, the people that are listening, like what exactly is your role with this app, and you know what you do and everything like that?
Yeah, sure. So I'll use this as an excuse to give a little bit of background on myself too. I actually got started in the sports media industry through radio myself. So it's really a pleasure to be on with you guys, like I said before. And one of the big breakthrough moments for me was I had Mike Tannenbaum, who was the GM of the Jets at the time, come in the studio. We did a whole interview. And it was funny. He told me at the time that he had gotten his start at a radio station. So that was kind of an inspiring moment, and I realized that I wanted to work in sports media. You know, fast forward a couple of years now, I have some other experience working with, you know, millennials in the sports media space. And so essentially, I met Dan Porter, who's CEO of Overtime and also the head of digital at William Morris Endeavor, and I met, and, you know, he's double my age, to be honest, and, you know, it was really refreshing to see someone with so much experience and knowledge still kind of bring some new ideas to the table. And, you know, a lot of the things that we were thinking about were aligned. And we really kind of wanted to set out together to accomplish the goal of creating Overtime. And, you know, so he has an amazing tech team that we have here. They actually built the app Draw Something, and that was very successful. They're amazing developers, designers, but he needed someone who had experience in the sports industry, who was a huge fan, and that could kind of lead a movement in a sense. And I had some experience doing that, and I was, you know, he said, I need someone who's young, who's a hustler, or someone like that, and, you know, that was kind of me. And so, you know, my title here is it's kind of twofold. So, you know, I'm running the content, and in that sense, I'm the editor-in-chief, and, you know, I'm talking to all the writers, and, you know, together I think we're creating amazing content. And then the other half is kind of more business development. So, you know, that's reaching out to other companies, doing some press, some marketing, and yeah, it's been a dream come true. It's a lot of fun working on the app, and, you know, I really hope, you know, a year from now I'm talking to you guys again, and our team is that much bigger, and we have more full-time people on the staff. We have big dreams for it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's really, you know, sky's the limit with this app.
Yeah, you've definitely done a great job in getting, like I said, I mean, I'm getting sports news right off the bat. So the team that, you know, you already have to start, even though, you know, it's the first day. I mean, again, you know, to have the stories out there so quick, you know, even, you know, not just the big stories, but even, you know, all the way down to the little stories, or even just, you know, that small time town that has that, you know, little league team. We were actually talking you know, Zach Buda about that, about how, you know, for even bring it all the way down to like little leagues, you know, if you're a parent and you want to be able to share with, you know, other family members that are obviously don't live, you know, close at all, you're able to expand, you know, and able to, you know, just be able to show how your kid's doing, you know, and just show different, you know, ideas on how the game works, you know, different sports. It really is a really, really great idea, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And yeah, Zach Buda spoke to a lot of great things, and that's absolutely right. I mean, we definitely see some early success in professional sports and college sports, but a big part of the end game is definitely geared towards, you know, Little League, you know, Pop Warner, high school sports, because, you know, a lot of times those players don't really get the attention they deserve. And of course, they're never going to be as famous as LeBron James or, you know, guys like that, but that doesn't mean that their highlights can't be seen on a cool app right next to them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there is top plays in Pop Warner, so, you know, definitely if it, you know, people can catch that and get it on Overtime, and if it started on the Overtime app, I mean, it would be awesome. Quick question. I know you guys started out, the Overtime app started out as Tally. You know, what was the changes that you guys made from the beginning of that?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question.
Other than the name, but
yeah. So, you know, originally, you know, Tally was really meant as a place to talk about anything, so not just sports. And the platform was not entirely dissimilar to, you know, it was still based off of feeds and hashtags. You know, the concept behind Tally was actually one hashtag, so you couldn't even do two hashtags, and it was really kind of like somewhat like Twitter. Twitter meets Instagram meets Reddit, but just for everything under the sun. And I think what the team sort of realized was that, that it was a little bit ambitious to tackle everything. And, you need really strong communities to start an app. And what they realized very early on is that the strongest communities on Tally and the best content was about sports. I mean, sports just really lends itself well to that. And then we did some looking at the market and then the industry, and we realized that there really has not been an app that's been able to take off in this arena. No one's really been able to bring all the fans together in an effective and enjoyable way. And so that's kind of when we made the decision to pivot. And so, there are so many changes that were made. Obviously, you talk about the name. That's actually probably the simplest thing that we had to change, although that was a bit of an arduous process as well. But, the branding, the feel of a sports app obviously has to be different than the feel of just your everyday general app. The tools that we provide people. So, obviously the biggest tool that we created post-Tally was our video technology and allowing slow-mo in our highlights, which we think is just an awesome feature. And those video highlights are actually now embeddable all over the web. So you can include, so if you're at your son's Pop Warner game and you catch the game-winning touchdown, not only is that going to be hosted on Overtime, but, if your friend has a blog, whatever, they can embed it from Overtime, that video, just like a Vine, directly into their blog. So that's a cool feature that we built out. Really, the list kind of goes on, but we really just wanted to create the ultimate experience for sports fans.
Of course.
Yeah, like I said, you guys are doing a great job over with the Overtime app, and like I said, I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I think I've been with. I've been using Overtime for probably 3 weeks now, maybe 4. And like I said, I love it. And I can't wait to keep using it, especially every Sunday now with football around.
It's going to be crazy this Sunday.
Yeah, and
be crazier on Monday night.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good one this coming Monday, man. I'm not going to lie, I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. What do you think about Monday night's game? Who do you like?
I don't know. Who did you say you were a fan of?
The Jets.
I'll go with the Jets fan. I'm a Jets fan too, but I always want to side with the host. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm actually wearing the Overtime T-shirt right now as we.
Oh, I love it. Me too. That connection right there.
Yeah, definitely. But like I asked Zach Buda, there's a game on tonight. Who do you have?
I think it's a tough one. I actually posted on Overtime earlier today, and it was a top post for a while about Peyton Manning and is he done or not. And I tend to think that, sports fans in general a little bit overreact, and that was kind of the reason why I posted that, to see if people would say, oh, Manning's done. And I'm still a believer. I'll admit I have Manning on my fantasy team, so I kind of have to be a believer. But to me, Manning doesn't even have to be incredible every single game for the Broncos to be a playoff team. I think that, the talent that's around him is still very good. And I don't know, every year I feel like the Chiefs, you think that they're making the next step and they're not. So, to me, I think it'll be a close one. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm really excited for it, but I'll go with the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm going.
That's 2-0, man.
Yeah, I know. I picked Denver too. Kevin took the Kansas City Chiefs. So you
makes good points though. That Denver defense did a great job against Baltimore this week.
Definitely.
I expect more of the same this week against Kansas City.
Exactly. The way that I look at it is, going into that Denver Baltimore game, did people really think that was going to be a super high scoring affair? I personally didn't. And so, obviously Manning's numbers weren't great, but when you get the W, you can't really blame it on the quarterback. A win is a win, and the quarterback is the most important player on the field. So you can't even consider it that bad of a performance for Manning.
Definitely not.
But hey, Zach, we love the app. We're gonna keep on posting as much as we can and upvoting on everybody's, and just starting that debate and loving the opinions of everybody.
Yep.
But like I said, we love the app. You're a great guest on the show.
Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I love working with you guys. I love talking with you guys. So absolute pleasure to be on your show, and yeah, thanks again.
Yeah, definitely. We would love to hear from you more often. Maybe have you on the show a lot.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, we'll keep in touch. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you again. Again, you're a great guest. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Enjoy the game tonight, guys.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, made some good points about tonight's game, to be honest, with the Chiefs and Broncos. The Broncos defense did look really, really good against the Baltimore Ravens. You got to expect more of the same.
I mean, you listen to him, but you don't listen to any of my.
Oh, well, you think Peyton Manning's going to be some hero all of a sudden?
Well, I don't know.
Kansas City's defense is no pushover.
No, but
they're going to hit Manning tonight.
But when I was thinking about picking the winner of this game, I wasn't really thinking about Peyton Manning though.
I'm thinking about Peyton Manning hitting the ground, the ground. To be honest,
well,
Kansas City's got some good pass rushers, man. It's going to be a scary night for him.
Well,
for the fantasy owners of him. You better
I don't
make sure
know
he gets out of that game in one piece.
I don't know if he could get any worse than him being on the ground in that Baltimore game. I mean, he got hit hard.
Absolutely.
And often.
Yep.
Hey, we're gonna take a break. We got another big guest for us and the Overtime app. When we get back, you'll listen to Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Tuesday on Zeno Radio and re-airs Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Follow the NFL this season on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. Do you have sports opinions? Or do you want to start your own sports debate? Then Overtime is right for you. Overtime is an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers. This is the best place to talk about sports. Overtime is available at the iTunes App Store. Be a part of something big and help us take the game to OT. Overtime. The game never ends.
Go hard today. The past is the past, you know.
We're back on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. A special Tom and Jerry Sports Show today. The launching of the Overtime app, September 17th. Also, follow the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on Twitter at TNJ Sports or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com. We're also taking calls at 605-562-7085. We also have our very own app, Tom and Jerry Sports Show app, available if you have an Android phone. Be sure to download it at the Google Play Store. And, obviously, we were talking about the Overtime app. Obviously, it's the launch day for them, September 17th. And
you can find the Overtime app on iTunes. Definitely go download that. Join the sports world and having fun with this app. But we're gonna keep talking about this app.
As you continue to see more and more, even what Zach Weiner was saying before, was that obviously it's going to be expanding. They've already expanded since obviously the very beginning stages of the app, but they're going to continue to expand. This app continues to get better and better as the days will go, and some days will get more fun with it. But we have our third guest on today.
Yeah. With the Overtime app, they're branching out, and it's not just the professional point of sports. They're going into, they're trying to get into high schools and everything like that. And this is the perfect guest to talk about this part of Overtime. Tom, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? How are you?
Good. How are you?
You're on the Tommy.
Good. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it's awesome having you. Explain to the fans and everything like that on basically having the high school portion of overtime.
Right, absolutely. So I coach high school football and basketball at a local high school in New York, and what we were finding was there was no one covering our teams, to the magnitude that we really want. If there was a big game, we would, maybe get a newspaper article or, maybe a tweet about us, but there was nothing that was covering the day-to-day work that these kids were putting in. So, I was hooked up with Overtime. We were working for a while, and we thought that high school was, a perfect fit. So what we're doing now is, we're starting at the high school I work at. We're getting a writer for each team. So there's a JV volleyball writer, there's a varsity tennis team writer, and those writers are posting day-to-day video clips, highlights, different posts about how those teams are doing, and it's giving the whole community such a better sense of what's going on. It's building our team spirit, our school spirit up so much, and we really feel like it's a big step in what Overtime can become. If every high school is on there doing that, it makes a high school kid feel like a pro athlete. So we got people in California commenting on how a New York high school tennis player did it. It's unbelievable. It's really, a big step for us, and something that I'm definitely really passionate about.
Yeah, I mean, this is awesome. I mean, to have high school kids, basically being a part of this app is awesome in that whole. I mean, but I mean, I wish, when I was in high school, we had this kind of app and we were able to talk about my high school that way. I mean, the biggest thing was at the one time, we had MSG Varsity. And I thought, everybody thought that was awesome, being able to watch your high school play football on TV. I think that was awesome for everybody. And now to have a sports app to be able to have your highlights or something like that on there, I think it's awesome. I mean, being able to say, oh yeah, you know what, I just had scored a touchdown on the Overtime app. If you go back and check.
Of course, share with your friends, be able to brag about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, the kids have really jumped over it. I mean, like, I can't tell you how excited they get if I'm like, yeah, I just threw up one of your clips on Overtime. We have the same thing. We have the MSG Varsity, but the likelihood that you're going to get any coverage, and unless you're a football player, is so small because they're covering such a wide variety here. We have the kids in the school doing it, so they can get as much coverage as they want. And like I said, it's so exciting for the kids. I can't tell you like how much this has made, their fall sports better so far. So it really, it's helping the kids, which is awesome.
Of course.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was in high school, actually me and Kevin went to the same high school. Our high school wasn't that good in football, so MSG Varsity was a dream for our high school, really, to get on there. So, I mean, being able to, branch out into high school with the Overtime app, it's pretty cool actually. And, I definitely, I share the excitement, that these kids are sharing, with everybody. I love this app. As we've said basically, to both Zachs, we've kind of been, using Overtime probably, basically the last month or so. And, we have a lot of fun with it. And, I know definitely, if we were to be able to get it into the high schools around here as well, I mean,
the kids would get just as absolutely excited, and honestly, it makes these kids want to, just makes them want to play. It's going to be, at a younger age even as well, knowing that your team, your high school is, getting bigger and better. Obviously since we've actually graduated our high school, our team is actually upgraded the field and all that kind of stuff. And obviously they're going, these schools are going in the right direction. And it's not just our former school or John Jay. All these schools are starting to expand. These games of basketball, football, more kids want to play. And that's really what Overtime should obviously help with. Be able to get kids to want to go out there and want to be able to play sports and play, and have fun. That's what sports are all about at a young age. You want to play to have fun. you know, and also, you know, obviously being, you know, recognized and being able to see your highlights or your team's highlights, you know, it makes it more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's also even been, you know, the athletes are loving it, and then it's also just bringing in the kids who maybe aren't athletes, you know, someone who didn't make the team but loves their sport. You know, they could be the writer for the team. It doesn't have to be someone who's on the team, so they can still come to practice, come to games, you know, write about what's going on and feel like, you know, they have a say in what's happening. You know, that they're still getting their voice heard.
Involved, which is, you know, the most important part to keep these kids, you know, basically loving their game and loving their sport.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really.
Real quick, Tom, I had a question. What's been your best experience as a high school coach?
As a high school coach, best experience, I would have to say, you know, I coached at the high school, but I also started my own high school AAU basketball program for a nonprofit organization. So, you know, helping some kids who making, you know, have them be able to travel on a national scale, and it's relatively cheap compared to other AAU organizations. Seeing those kids be able to get out and play and, you know, kind of travel and experience something that, you know, they wouldn't be able to experience normally. That's really the best. But, you know, just as a high school coach, you know, every time that we win a game that, you know, we aren't supposed to or we're picked against to win, you know, the kids and, you know, just working with the staff that I have, or, you know, are some of my best friends, it's just an unbelievable feeling to be able to work hard and, you know, achieve those goals. Because I miss playing just as much as anyone, so this is the next best thing, and it feels the same way, I swear. So it's awesome.
Basketball too growing up, man. I know exactly what you mean with the traveling. I was actually fortunate enough to have a coach, you know, that cared just as much as you do. And, you know, we were traveling at a young age, playing all over Long Island and all over New York State, upstate New York. We had, you know, obviously we played a lot of challenging teams, so I can definitely understand where you're coming with that. And it's good to know that, you know, obviously the coaches feel the same kind of excitement as, you know, obviously the kids do, and it really is a united, you know, kind of like a family, you know what I mean? And it really brings people together, and you know, obviously, again, I think it's really good what you're doing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. You know, it's definitely all about the kids, and we're just going to keep trying to push them to the top until, you know, they're where they want to be.
Yeah, and this app definitely is going to help. I mean, you knowing as a high school coach, you know, I mean, I still keep in touch with my high school baseball coach, and you know, they struggle to have kids come out for tryouts, and you know, I bet you know the same thing. But I honestly feel like this app is going to change that around. I think it's going to, you know, make it more fun for the kids that may not, you know, go out to try out. Maybe this time, you know, maybe they'll see, you know, stuff on Overtime and they'll actually try out for a team, and, you know, and you never know that, you know, they could make it. And I feel like it's going to change, you know, definitely high school sports and, you know, basically, you know, younger kids and stuff like that, and little leagues and stuff like that.
Keep them involved and stuff, which is really good.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, there's definitely participation is at, you know, a lower rate than what we're accustomed to seeing, and I definitely think, you know, the more coverage you're getting on these kids, the more you're showing that it matters, that it's fun, that it's exciting, you know, the more you're going to get out of kids, and I think that's really important, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like I agree 100%, and you know, because I mean, I play in like flag football leagues and a rough touch league, you know, and the league that I played in actually put up highlights on YouTube and stuff like that, and you know, I can't tell you how excited I get when you know, I get to see myself, you know, on YouTube or something like that, and being able to have an app like this, and you know, YouTube is such a you know, a wide range of content and everything.
Absolutely.
This app is just mainly about sports, and you know, and it's not just about professional and stuff like that. So
and
you'll have
sports lovers too. That's where you're going to be getting views from, and people that love the game as well, as equally as you do. So
exactly. I love what you guys are doing with this app. This app is awesome. You know, I can't say that enough. I mean, I've said it a million times while we've been on for this hour show. You know, it's really awesome, and to be able to get little leagues and high schools, and you know, sports that you never really see on either TV or anything like that. To have that on the app is awesome.
Yeah, it just gives a variety that I don't think you can find anywhere else. It's in the pro and college and high school sports, and it's also my favorite part personally, like aside from the high school stuff, is it gives you a voice. There were so many other forums where I was, because I'm a huge sports fan, where I was posting stuff and I was, trying to get involved and start conversations, and you maybe have one or two friends over the course of a week who have any interest in what you're saying. Here, you're finding a community where if you're a sports fan, you're going to find what you want to talk about, and you're going to find other people who want to talk about the same thing. So it really, there's nothing that's made me feel more part of the community like this. So aside from the high school stuff, you're getting, the best of the sports world and the best conversation. And, at the end of the day, like, we'll get intense and stuff, but it's a great community, and the people on there are just outstanding. The knowledge is incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's such a wide range of knowledge in the sports field. But we wanted to kind of bring up your high school team that you coach. I mean, if I'm looking at it right, you're 1-1 now?
Yeah, we are 1-1. We won our first game. We won a crazy game. Our first game, 34-33. It was unfortunate. A lot of our really good players are out right now. They're injured. We're typically, one of the top teams in Class A in New York, and we're unfortunately we're missing a bunch of starters. We're starting about 8 sophomores right now, so hopefully we get healthy, and we got a bunch of really tough games coming up. Hopefully we get healthy and can make our little run at the end.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. Good luck on the season, and again, just like you and both Zachs, we would love to have you guys on the show more often. Definitely call in, for your opinions and stuff like that. But a question I've asked both Zachs at the end of their interview. There's a game on tonight, and who do you have?
Who do I have tonight? Who we got? The Broncos versus who again?
Chiefs.
Broncos, Chiefs. I got a hard time picking against the Broncos. I hear their running backs back in. I saw that on overtime. Their running backs are going to start tonight. I'm not going against Peyton and the Broncos. I know the Chiefs played well the first game. You can throw to your tight end as much as you want, but you got to throw to some receivers at some point. So I got the Broncos winning this one.
Definitely. So right now,
clean sweep.
Yeah, that's 3 on
yeah,
my.
The other two said Broncos.
Yeah. Yep.
Overtime sports writers, man. You got to follow us. You got to listen.
Yeah, exactly. This is awesome to have you on the show.
Appreciate you taking the time, Tom.
Yeah, definitely.
I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys for giving us this opportunity, and we love to get back on whenever you need us.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever you guys want. We're on every Tuesday, so listen in and call in. We'd love to hear opinions.
Awesome. I definitely will.
Thanks again, Tom.
Have a good one.
Thank you so much. Bye.
So a clean sweep on tonight's game.
Clean sweep.
3-0.
Clean sweep.
Or 4-0. 4-1.
Exactly.
You gotta include me and you.
Exactly the way the Yankees will sweep this weekend.
I wouldn't go that too far. I'm a Yankee fan, but don't go too, we need it, but I'll tell you, there's one thing the Mets need right
Clean
now.
Sweep.
The Mets would need a nice little, confidence boost, and winning 2 out of 3 against the New York Yankees would definitely have New York buzzing.
Well, I'm not going to lie, listening to sports radio, a lot of Mets fans are scared. A lot of Mets fans.
Good reason. The 2007 seems like yesterday to them, so it's understandable. But we're going to get more into tonight's game, fantasy implications with it, our stardom and sit 'em for that game as well. So we'll be right back. You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
One mind, one team, one heart, one player through the hole, one goal from the start to dominate the art of the black and blue and watch your Super Bowl dreams till they all come true.
Do you have sports opinions? Or do you want to start your own sports debate? Then Overtime is right for you. Overtime is an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers. This is the best place to talk about sports. Overtime is available at the iTunes App Store, Be a part of something big and help us take the game to OT. Overtime. The game never ends. Follow the NFL this season on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Tuesday on Zeno Radio and re-airs Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live.
I feel the master. I feel them. Y'all ready? They ready? Well, come on. Well, come on. Y'all ready? They ready? We ready? We ready? Come on. Come on. We ready?
And we are back. Fantasy 14 kind of a little half here, I guess. We're going to talk about the game tonight and kind of bring up, fantasy implications in this game. Big time fantasy players in this game. Peyton Manning, obviously, Demaryius Thomas. Then if you go on the other side, Jamal Charles, Kansas City's defense, even Denver's defense.
Obviously all those names you just named right there are definitely, I think you can get away with starting any of those guys in your fantasy league, this week. Obviously this is a tough game. You don't know what to expect. This could be a game that can, open up or obviously have a low scoring affair. Honestly, when I see this game and the way I saw Denver's offense in week 1, now I'm not one of those to push to conclusions, but the Baltimore Ravens, defense was even without Terrell Suggs for a good portion of that game. And we all know the Ravens defense, obviously they've always had a great mindset and, they've always been a great defense, but, Kansas City's defense doesn't get any easier. And the way they were hitting Peyton Manning week 1 in Baltimore, obviously I expect more of the same from Justin Houston, the leading sack guy from last year. So
overall that whole game in Baltimore and Denver, Denver's defense looked very good. They played very well in that game. Aqib Talib with a pick six.
Two pick sixes in that game. There really was no offensive scoring.
Yeah, Jimmy Smith had a pick six as well for Baltimore. But, overall, Peyton Manning was really on his back a lot.
I just expect, honestly, as my pick of being Kansas City, I expect Kansas City to be able to run the ball more. And I think this is the type of game when you got two defenses that are playing really at the top of their game right now. It's going to come down to who can run the ball better, who can control the line of scrimmage, and who can control the trenches, the offensive line as opposed to the defensive line.
I think it's going to come down to running the ball.
Yeah. Whoever can run the ball more effectively. And the way C.J. Anderson ran in week 1 and the way that offensive line played for the Denver Broncos in week 1, it's not looking good for them. And they need to really look into the mirror right now and find a way to win tonight's game and obviously, hopefully, leaning on Peyton's back.
C.J. Anderson did get hurt, but as Tom mentioned earlier, he's coming back for this game. He'll be starting.
Will be playing. I think he's going to be on a limited role, though. I think when it comes to sit-ems, he is the number one. You might have no choice but to sit him. This is a first-round pick, folks, but
definitely.
You have no choice. You have to sit him. This is not a favorable matchup, and this is a guy that's coming off an injury and might be on a limited snap count.
Yeah. We actually spoke about our stardom sit-ems on Tuesday. It was kind of hard to listen to the show, being that the website that we are recording on didn't record it. So, we're going to try to get you a quick 10-minute stardom sit-em here. But teams like Arizona, I think you start anybody on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Going up against the Bears. Actually,
John Brown could be a very good, very least expensive wide receiver over on DraftKings or FanDuel if you want to go with them.
And obviously me, being like us being connected with the Overtime app, we're doing fantasy through that, fantasy football through that, and we're doing an eliminator pool with that. I picked Arizona to be my team to win next week. Well, this week.
This is a very tough week for something like that.
It kind of was.
This is not a lot of good matchups you're really seeing. The biggest favorite is obviously the New Orleans Saints, and this is a team that did not look good on week one.
That's what I've been hearing is a lot of and I mean even on the websites their percentage is up, the highest out of the whole week to be picked this week, and
I think it's because of the way Tampa was performing against Tennessee, and let's be honest, the Tennessee Titans do not have an overwhelming defense. So the fact that they had a hard time scoring for 3/4 of that game puts a big red flag. But the New Orleans defense does not get any, it's probably a little worse, obviously. So that's really where you really kind of might have to put your foot on the pedal with that pick. But I mean, New Orleans, you have to see it. Their first home game of the season. This is Drew Brees. This is the Dome. He's a great Dome quarterback. He always has been. When you play the Saints at home, you're playing a much different team than when you played the Saints on the road. And I'll tell you that. And the Saints did not lose that game by much, aside from a late touchdown from Dave Johnson. The Arizona Cardinals, this was a one-score game for the most part, folks. And the Arizona defense stepped up big. Patrick Peterson was incredible. He really shut down Brandon Cooks. If you're a Brandon Cooks owner in fantasy football, obviously you didn't get that much production from him. That is your reason why. Patty Pete's right there. Patty Pete.
Guilty. I have Brandon Cooks.
Well, he just ran into Patrick Peterson. That's a tough matchup. He's one of the best cornerbacks in football.
I just hit a wall. I mean, just having Adrian Peterson as well. And we spoke about that last week.
Did you even break 100?
It depends on the league. ESPN league, I did not even break 90.
It was a tough week. Adrian Peterson had a very slow down week. That was obviously.
But you know what? I don't.
It's a tough matchup though. San Fran's very good.
I don't put that on him though.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think he had a bad game. 10 rushes, 30 yards. It's not Adrian Peterson like, but.
I saw one play where he carried 4 defenders, so he should have received the ball a lot more in that game. Minnesota might have scored more points in that game.
10 rushes at halftime.
Maybe would have gotten to the end zone.
It was 7-0. So it wasn't even like.
Well, I heard it was because of the flow of the game, but that was a one-score game. So what do you mean the flow of the game?
The thing is, it wasn't like Minnesota had to throw themselves back into this game.
Absolutely not. Their
they
defense
could have
played
still
great.
ran the ball, and especially you have the best running back in the league.
Well, San Fran just wore their defense out. I mean, Carlos Hyde himself wore out the Minnesota defense.
Did you see that spin move?
That was filthy. I ain't gonna lie. I know exactly what you're talking about. It just popped up right in my head right away as soon as you said spin.
We probably caught that on the Overtime app. I mean,
Absolutely.
I know I caught that on the Overtime app. I mean, that's how I saw it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I wasn't watching the game.
Well, then now you could see it over and over and over again. It was an incredible move.
It was perfect. To have the Overtime app, and I'm not even like trying to hype it up here. I'm being totally honest with you about this app.
Very useful.
I mean, it was a 10:30 game.
I know.
How many people were gonna stay up? And the people that did posted on an Overtime.
Thank you to you guys.
Exactly.
We'll throw a quick thank you out to you guys. I'm not going to lie. Thank you so much.
And that's how I saw it. And I watched it over and over again. To be honest with you, just like you said, I watched it over and over again. And
let's be honest, you didn't miss too much on Monday night late. It was a very boring game aside from that spin move. And honestly, Carlos Hyde in general. Carlos Hyde was an incredible player.
He had 140 yards.
Oh, it didn't just end on that spin move, man. He was bouncing to the outside. He was an incredible talent. I mean, this was a guy that if you got in your fantasy leagues in the 6th, 7th round, you are doing jumping jacks.
First of all,
I
mean, I don't know.
It's a tough matchup that he'll be facing in the future, but
to go deep in a 6th round, I thought. Their rankings had him up in the top 20.
Who, Carl? Yeah, well,
Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, to some degree, but I'll be honest, there's a lot of receivers that were going ahead of him too, man. You were looking at a range where you weren't sure about Carlos Hyde.
I honestly thought he was going to be a dud this year.
But
again, let's not jump to conclusions. It's only week 1. We don't know what these teams are gonna bring. That's why
he just looked like something special though.
Yeah.
That Minnesota front is nothing to mess around with.
No, it's not.
They were. He was very effective. I mean, he had play calls for the draw, and he was bouncing it to the outside, and just outrunning guys. He really single-handedly wore them out.
Kaepernick kind of looked good in that game.
He looked okay, but obviously he had a lot of time. I mean, they had worn that defense out, man. They were really sustaining long drives, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
San Francisco really turning a lot of heads, considering all the losses they had this season. To be honest, obviously losing a couple of key parts on defense. That defense didn't look like it slowed down at all. Obviously. that game, when it came down to it, it was defense, and you thought you were going to see a nice show with the two running backs. But, going back into Carlos Hyde a little bit, one reason you probably didn't like him was because of the division he's in.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was with him, to be honest with you, I thought he was going to be a dud. I thought last year it was...
Who would you rather have, Matt Forte or Carlos Hyde? And because look at the divisions, look at the teams these guys have to play twice. Matt Forte sees the Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions, and the Minnesota Vikings twice a season.
Yeah.
Carlos Hyde's going to see the St. Louis Cardinals, the St. Louis Rams, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, those are not the front sevens you want to see with your running back, especially as matchups.
Yeah, I mean...
Home or road.
I mean, I'm actually going to come up with a post right now for overtime, and if anybody from from any.
Do you think Carlos Hyde's going to be an effective fantasy running back?
Exactly, and that was my post. Is Carlos Hyde a 1 week wonder?
I'll tell you, people go back and forth with that one because
absolutely
we're going back and forth right now too.
Yeah, and I mean, you could even kind of add him to anything. I mean, putting him next to any running back that kind of went maybe later in the first or second round ish. That's probably where Carlos Hyde went.
Well, you can't go to a lot of conclusions off of 1 week. I think the perfect examples are Peyton Manning, Greg Olsen, Carlos Hyde. Even, I mean, you don't know what you're going to expect out of these guys.
Carlos
Hyde was one of the highest scoring running backs last year.
Yeah.
Last week.
I mean, teams overall, like it's usually that. I mean, I go by that 3 week grace period.
Mm-hmm.
After 3 weeks, that I think you're going to see what kind of team you got.
About a month,
Yeah, basically.
End of September, you get a little bit of an idea.
3 weeks, 4 weeks.
And also, fantasy football is a big thing with matchups. Okay, you can have the best players in the world, but if you have terrible matchups, sometimes you got no choice. I mean,
and you know what? That's why. That's where.
Anyone can face Richard Sherman in a week. Any wide receiver can face Darrelle Revis in a week. I mean, these are not ideal matchups, but listen, when you got a number one receiver as good as maybe Des Bryant or, obviously Des Bryant going down with the injury, what do you think about that? Do you think this guy's going to be out the whole year?
I don't know about the whole year. And
I think Dallas got to watch their future right now. This is a guy that's signed for a long time right now. You can't rush him back. It's not good news for fantasy owners, I'll tell you that.
We could definitely put that
That's another debate.
Did
you see what Julio Jones wrote?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Julio Jones had heard the report. They talked about this on Monday night right before the game. Julio Jones was talking to Roddy White. And they saw what happened to Des Bryant on Sunday night, and Julio went up to Roddy White and said, "Oh man, that's the same injury I got." And Julio Jones didn't play another game for the rest of the year. Granted, the Atlanta Falcons were very careful; they were out of contention early, and this is a Dallas team that's going to be in contention. So really, the debate goes on there. I mean, it really determines whether or not this guy's going to come back this year.
I've heard so many I guess reports on this. Cowboys think it's going to be a 4 to 6 week. I don't see it being that way.
I'm thinking the 7.
I'm going 8 week.
Yeah,
I'm going 8 week. The Cowboys said that they're going to have him start doing conditioning 2 to 3 weeks in.
I think it's just to give it an idea, see where he's at, see how the foot's healing and stuff like that, because this is their future. This is their future.
And now
they just signed him.
Yeah, and this also
a lot of money.
This also goes in the category of holdouts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a broken bone in his foot that you can't really go by, being the reason maybe.
You kind of just wish he held out after week 1 then, huh? He would have never broke his foot.
But, I mean, overall, I think, it's definitely, as a Cowboys fan and a big Dez fan, it's a tough pill to swallow. And I hope he has a very speedy recovery. But... it's all up to his body.
Yeah, it's really a situation that needs to be monitored. Obviously, Julio Jones was a prize for the Atlanta Falcons. They weren't in contention. Obviously, he didn't play the rest of the year just to protect their commodity.
This is also in week 1. This happened in week 1.
It's just you don't
Julio
know.
Jones,
really
I think
depends.
it was longer into the season, so that
No, he wasn't going to be able to play for the entire year. He had even said it to Roddy White. He said, "Oh, that kept me out the whole year, and going into the OC." It's just this is an injury where, listen, you're not going to get a guy like Des Bryant cutting, the way you're used to seeing him cut right off the bat. And now it's a major red flag for any fantasy football owner. If you own Dez Bryant right now, it is not a great state to be in.
No.
It's not, because when he does come back, he might be on a snap count. If he comes back, he might not be cutting the way he was.
And he might not just be effective as
he'll be effective, because it's just his goal line threat. Obviously throw this man up the football like Julio Jones and go down and get it. I mean, there's a lot of guys in the NFL that could do that right now, and he's definitely one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but when it comes to just the in between the
when it comes
the 20s,
to having Prince Amukamara, hanging on your hip, you can't go up that high.
The whole debate in that game with the penalties called. The refs in that game, I've seen better. I'm not gonna lie. Between the pass interference called on the Dallas Cowboys and the non-pass interference, called on the New York Giants. I mean, obviously that game balanced out. That was a good game any way you put it. Dallas, I mean, you don't see a lot of teams get -4 on the turnover battle and find a way to win the game. So, the Dallas Cowboys need to take everything positive they can from that game, but the turnovers are going to need to stop.
Yeah. But that will do it. We had 3 great guests today. And if you're listening, go out and download Overtime in the iTunes App Store now.
Overtime, the app that never ends.
Because it's the game that never ends.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's the app now. That's what it's all about.
But, I mean, it's a great app, especially, I mean, if you're listening to us, then you're obviously a sports fan. So,
absolutely.
Go out and download that and follow me and Kevin. But that will do it for the special Overtime Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
Be breezy. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Tom and Jerry Show.